Using toxic gases to kill varmints is a problem because most rodenticides, which are pesticides that kill rodents, but most of them are toxic when inhaled or if they come in contact with skin. And one example of this issue affecting the organisms in its area is typically the humans that use these toxic gases in the first place. According to a survey that was taken recently in the past year, around 75% of the US households use at least one pesticide product indoors. In 1990, the American Association of Poison Control Centers reported that around 79,000 children were involved in common household pesticide poisonings or exposures in households with children under 5 years old, and almost one half stored at least one pesticide product within reach of children. Considering these facts, we know that humans get impacted greatly by these toxic gases and chemicals that are being used frequently and quite commonly in normal homes. Another organism that gets affected by using toxic gases on varmints like rodenticides are pets, and that's because if they even lick or eat the poison, it may cause high calcium needs levels in the blood, and this can damage the heart and intestines, kidneys, and central nervous system. If the rodenticide had bromethylene, ingesting it could result in paralysis, possibly a coma, and other side effects. When thinking of a solution to this problem, it's important to remember that any exposure to pesticides may result in irritation to your throat, eyes, and nose, and an increased risk of cancer and damage to your central nervous system and kidneys. The physical symptoms that you may feel during and or after being exposed to these gases may include things like weaknesses, headaches, nausea, dizziness, and exposure to the gases for long periods of time can also result in significant damage to the kidneys, liver, and endocrine and nervous systems. Now, knowing these risks and side effects that the toxic gases can cause, there are multiple solutions in order to reduce exposure, which are to make sure to use the product significantly how the directions specify. Another solution would be to increase ventilation when using indoors and take things like pets, plants outdoors before applying pesticides, flea, and tick treatments. Although there are good ways to prevent the misuse of gases, the best solution is to just use non-chemical methods of pest control where possible. In order to do this safely, it's important to do your research and select it carefully instead of just picking the first one that you find. Ask for an inspection of your home and get a written control program for evaluation before you sign any contracts, and the control program should list specific names of pests to be controlled and chemicals that should be used. It should also answer your questions about any of your safety concerns. Finally, insist on a proven record of competence and customer satisfaction. Also, do not store pesticides that aren't in use inside of a home, and dispose of unwanted containers safely. In addition, store your clothes with moth repellents in separate ventilated areas if possible. This way the moths will no longer be there, limiting your need to use toxic gases against moths. Lastly, it is best to keep spaces clean and dry and well ventilated to avoid pest and odor control problems, and always read the label and follow the directions. It's actually illegal to use any pesticides in a way that doesn't follow the directions on its labels. In terms of disposing unwanted pesticides safely, unused or partially used pesticide containers both are fine, but the best possible solution I found would be to throw away according to the directions on the label, or on days when there's household hazardous waste collection. Since not all communities have this available, you should work with others to organize them. Overall, you should try not to use toxic gases to exterminate varmints, but if chemicals must be used, make sure to only use recommended amounts, mix or dilute pesticides outdoors or in an isolated, well-ventilated area, and make sure the area is vacated before applying. And dispose of unwanted pesticides safely to minimize exposure. Knowing this, there will always be limitations that arise, such as that people will always have their own opinion on what form of killing varmints they want to choose from. For example, if somebody has been using toxic gases to kill their varmints for years and it's worked for them personally, and they may not be willing to change old habits or even believe that there is other safer ways of exterminating varmints and products work. The other limitations are time and money, which many people just do not have. It takes both time and money just to do research and try out other methods of varmint removal that works best for them. There's just no way that you are able to control how much money or time that people spend on those type of things. There are many products today that are non-toxic varmint removal products that offer a great alternative to toxic gas. One example of this product would be this non-toxic rodenticide pellet bag. This product claims to be a natural method to eliminate rats and mice from just one feeding, and it's a humane and safe way to use around people, pets, and wildlife.